I present evidence to the judges of the International Criminal Court on 27th of February 2007.
The public pressure is given credit for another surprising development. The Security Council had referred the situation in Darfur to the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court to bring charges against those responsible for crimes against humanity.
Case demonstrate how
Prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo never thought he would be in this position. He expected Sudan's loyal ally China to block him. And if not China, then the U.S., which harbors great suspicion towards the court.
When I took office, the idea to have a Security Council referral was impossible, because many states inside the Security Council were pretty hostile against the court. But because the activism of people in different countries, no one vetoed the Security Council resolution, and then the case was referred to us. And that's a good example of how people can mobilize institutions.
Ocampo has already brought indictments against a Sudanese government minister and a Janjaweed militia leader, although Sudan has refused to hand the men over to the court.
People say, no, not possible. Look, I'm Argentinian. 1976, General Videla, all the power, he was the president of the country. 1985, I was the prosecutor, he was in the dock. Pinochet, the same. So, International Criminal Court issued an indictment, their destiny is the dock. They will be in the dock in 2 months, in 2 years, in 5 years. But they will end in the dock in the International Criminal Court.
In 2007, the pressure on the international community to take more decisive action on Darfur was building. In May, President Bush announced new economic sanctions against Sudan and called for an international arms embargo to end the killing.
For too long, the people of Darfur have suffered at the hands of a government that is complicit in the bombing, murder, and rape of innocent civilians. My administration has called these actions by their rightful name: genocide.
But the U.S. was still isolated. China and other Security Council members criticized the sanctions and refused to go along.
The United States pushed harder than any of the other countries in order to get action. But the United States had a lot of business with China. So how important is Darfur? It's a misbegotten province on the other side of the world of no strategic importance to us. How much are we willing to jeopardize our relations with China? And so I think one reason why action has been so slow is that it just isn't important enough to anybody.
Dear friends from the world, to the Beijing 2008 Olympic Games, we salute you.
But Darfur activists would finally find a way to get China's attention by targeting the Beijing Olympic Games.
We need to convince China that there will be an enormous price to pay if they don't change their diplomatic posture. This is China's post-Tiananmen Square coming out party. China looks at this as an opportunity to reassert itself on the international stage as a legitimate world power.
And so Reeves launched a campaign to shame the Chinese government.
The message to China is clear. We will ensure that your hosting of the Olympics will go down in history along with the 1936 Olympics in Berlin as an occasion of international infamy.
He gave the campaign a slogan: the Genocide Olympics. Mia Farrow took up the call with an op-ed piece in the Wall Street Journal. And then she was everywhere, chastising the Chinese.
China is hosting the 2008 Olympic Games. China pours billions of dollars into Sudan every year. But what we've got to link China to this genocide. The Genocide Olympics.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much. Thank you. What we couldn't have anticipated was the response, especially from Beijing. It was just a tsunami of a response. The Chinese ambassador wrote a letter to the Wall Street Journal, a letter of outrage that the Games should be besmirched in this way.
But the Chinese sent a high-level diplomatic delegation to Khartoum and actually made it clear, they wanted to make it clear, that they were putting pressure on the regime, something they had never really done before.
I think the Genocide Olympics campaign has been extraordinarily successful in getting China to take notice.
The US administration had already made some progress in that regard, but this campaign has gone much, much further, much, much faster than anyone would have anticipated.
Will those in favor of the draft resolution contained in document S/2007/468 please raise their hand?
It had taken 4 years, but on July 31st, 2007, finally all the hands went up, and there was agreement to send 26,000 UN troops to Darfur by the end of the year, with a mandate to protect civilians. Sudan had finally agreed to accept a substantial peacekeeping force, but demanded that all the troops be African, and they have no mandate to disarm the Janjaweed.
Now I declare the meeting is adjourned.
But it appeared to be progress. Political progress at the UN has come years too late for the hundreds of thousands who died in Darfur, and the millions driven from their homes. And too late, too, for the refugees in Chad. Too late for the woman who lost her leg to a bullet wound, or her neighbor who had his eyes gouged out by the Janjaweed.
I am living like a dead man. In the past, I was an able person. Our suffering will continue. The Janjaweed will not stop their attacks. This place is not safe.
And despite the successes of the Darfur movement, some activists too are left with a sense of despair.
But I think if we look to the UN in its present form as a mechanism, as an international means of preventing genocide, I think Darfur presents overwhelming evidence that this is not possible. This institution cannot do the job.
No! No!
And so it goes. In another of hell's waiting rooms, a blind man, unprotected in a lawless land, waits for the world to finally live up to its promises.
This report continues on our website, where you can watch the program again online. Explore a 4-year chronology of the world's failure to act in Darfur.
So how important is Darfur?
Read the extended interviews.
Blowing this out of proportion.
As well as the producer's notes about the making of this program. Then join the discussion at pbs.org.
Next time on Frontline.
Everybody's phone records, everybody's email.
In the war on terror.
Everybody's a suspect.
What's being threatened here at home?
It's the sort of thing that very oppressive governments would do without a warrant.
Since 9/11, has the government's surveillance program gone too far?
I can give you more security, but I got to take away some rights.
Next time, Frontline investigates spying on the home front.
To order Frontlines on Our Watch on DVD, call PBS Home Video at 1-800-PLAY-PBS.
Frontline is made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you. With major funding from the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, helping to build a more just world. And additional funding from the Park Foundation.